So my engine just cut out. I don't have a lot of wind.
So I have rigged up a tow line. It's made up of all of our very thick, heavy dock lines. Do you want to proceed with the tow?
It's going well. I'm just so on edge.
Drake's bringing in the tow line. Hazel's dropping anchor.
Okay, we'll go dock and then we'll come get you.
I just tried picking up the chain and I tore off the skin on my finger.
Sorry, your anchor's hitting your bow. I'm sorry.
It's not the pointy part.
So what I'm doing is I'm using wet and dry sandpaper to sand down these little nicks, and then I have some gel coat repair in a tube.
I got ways to find you anywhere.
I'd rather have some stains that I need to sand off later. Wash it all up. So, looks relatively good, you know, it's a very quick job. And the colour obviously doesn't match, but there you go. But for that, it doesn't look too bad. Alright, this is where I come in, editing Hazel at your service. I thought I'd flesh out the story a little bit more. I didn't really film a right lot in this whole period, so I apologize for that. I know a lot of you were wondering about what was going on with the engine. So, the Marinero Jesus, he called a mechanic for me, which was very nice. And the mechanic came aboard and had a good look around. He took a lot of the engine apart, including the freshwater cooling system. Basically, it ended up being what I thought it was, which was the impeller. It had completely disintegrated. And also the fresh water, it was sort of like black and mucky. So he changed that as well, and he changed all of the hoses, which were also disintegrating. Yeah, that was all very helpful. He serviced the water pump as well. It ended up being like $500, which definitely stung, but in the long run, I guess I'm glad that it got done and that my engine is hopefully working again now. So, I've left 3.4 the third time now. Third time's the charm, right? There. Well, the engine seems to be doing well. I've been motoring, been underway for 40 minutes, and before that I motored half an hour on the dock. So, knock on wood, seems to be doing okay. Yeah, about 20 miles to go. There's really not a lot of wind. It's quite calm, but throughout the journey I will continue trying to see if I can sail on this or not. Yeah, that's kind of how it's going. I think if I do less than 3 knots I'd be tempted to motor, because I set off at noon and I do want to get in before it gets dark. These days it gets dark at 7:45 around here, so yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to Aviles, by the way. So, Mo from Paragon baked me a birthday cake yesterday, and I had dinner on their boat yesterday, and she gave me some cake for the trip, which is really lovely. And the wind has been found, ladies and gentlemen. We are sailing. Look at that water rushing by. Isn't that a beautiful sight? Let's pan to the iPad. Ooh, that's a good speed. Cutting the corner there. 10 miles to go, nice. Let me just show you where Aviles is as well. So, if we zoom out really far, this is Spain. We zoom in. That is where Gijon is, over there. And that is where Aviles is. I am happy, I am sailing. Things have been going very well so far. Fingers crossed. The engine has been doing well, and now I found some wind, which is so amazing. Love that. For me and for Lana. Yeah, 10 miles to go. Should get there, yeah, 6-ish, I think. So, just a quick explanation. Didn't really film much yet today at all, and looks like today's gonna be short. So, I left Aviles with the plan to go to the Rio Navia, which was nearly 40 miles away. I left with first flight, you know, all that stuff, and thought if I make on average 4, maybe even 5 knots, that would be alright. With the Rio Navia, it's also, you have to time it right with the tide, because it can get pretty shallow. But there is much less wind than I thought there would be. So I was not making the progress that I thought I would. Also, it's a bit wavy. So I have a new plan. I am going to this place called Cudillero, which is like this really small, mainly fishing harbour port as far as I understand. But I am going to try to get in there and pick up a mooring buoy. The entrance is a little tricky. So I am a bit nervous with this with the swell. According to the forecast, it's about 2 meters right now. So do with that what you will. But I will try anyway, because I can't make it to the Rio Navia before the tide turns. So that is a problemo. Yeah, there you go, that's my plan. So I just left Cudillero. What time is it? Oh, okay, it's 5 to 10 already. So I left at 9. There's not really any wind to speak of. So I put up the sails for balance to make everything a bit calmer on board, not so wobbly, but they're not catching a lot of wind, unfortunately. It's said to pick up a little bit this afternoon, so we'll see, maybe I can sail then. I am going to the Rio Navia today. The past hour, I was trying to sort things out, trying to decide where I'm going to go today. Another idea I had was to go 10 miles further, which would be 40 miles, to Ribadeo, anchor there for the night, and then head on to Vivero. But tomorrow, I was sort of worried about the wind tomorrow. So it was supposed to be gusting into the 30s, and that's a bit much for me. So I think I'm just going to stay in the Rio Navia and hope that everything's fine now. So to explain, actually, there is quite a lot of wind coming through the next few days, according to the weather forecast at least. Quite a lot of wind, quite big waves also. And the reason why I was thinking about going to Vivero at all was because the reviews on Alanouwoly, which I use to scout out anchorages and marinas and things. So the reviews on Alanouwoly are very good, and they say that the marina is very protected. So I was like, oh yeah, I should go there. But it is a bit far. And the Rio Navia, I was kind of afraid that it wouldn't be as protected, I guess, and I'm still a bit afraid of that as well, that the waves will come down it and it'll be so swelly and horrid. I hope that won't be the case. In a couple of days it's supposed to be like 6 meters out here, So that does not sound fun at all. And yeah, so fingers crossed, I guess. But I'm going to the Rio Navia, I think. I'm definitely not going to Vivero tomorrow. Gusting into the 30s, like I said, that's just not something that I feel comfortable with. If I can avoid it, I will, sort of situation. So yeah, so 30 miles to Navia. Just rounding this corner. The coast is beautiful though. So at least I'll have something to look at while I'm motoring along. But this is a good sign. The motor seems to be working. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. But yeah, it's been good for me. So this is a nice change of pace, I guess. So change of plans. I am not going to the Rio Navia anymore. In fact, I've already passed it. So instead, I am going to Vivero directly. I'm not going to stop in Ribadeo like I had planned first, but I'm going there directly. So that's 60 miles about. I should get there at between midnight and 2 o'clock in the morning, hopefully. And which obviously means arriving in the dark, but I have contacted the marina and they said that it's very well lit, so let's hope that's true. As for, I'm still motoring, as you can hear, sort of motor sailing. It's not going particularly fast. I could sail. I would be doing about maybe 3 knots, between 2.5 and 3 knots, but because I want to get to Ribadeo and because I want to get there between midnight and 2, I'm sort of pushing it a bit, trying to go as fast as I can. So here we are, motor sailing. Also something weird's going on with my battery. My leisure battery doesn't seem to be charging. I have an alternator on the engine and it should be charging both the batteries, but I don't know, it's not really working. So my leisure battery is like super flat right now, which means I will be hand steering for as much as I can. Currently the autopilot's running on the starter battery, but I'm going to turn that off in a minute to save as much of that battery as I possibly can, for my nav lights and in case of emergencies, basically. So yeah, lots of hand steering today, and yeah, there we go. It's also raining. Fun. I can sail. Whoop, whoop. Oh, and I've got a friend. Oh, and he left me. But he's been landing sporadically, taking little breaks. I've got several friends, actually, several bird friends now. They seem to like landing on my boat, and I welcome it. But yeah, going between 4 and 5 knots, so that's pretty good. So making really good progress. 30 miles to go. It is 6 o'clock in the evening. It is still raining, but what can you do? I could see the land earlier while it wasn't raining, but I can't see it anymore. They're inside. You cannot see them because there's so many raindrops, but 2 birds have flown inside. They have not come out yet. I hope you have a very dry stay, my friends. this has been done. Tied up the boat and everything. Now I gotta clear away the ropes and then it's time for bed. Good night, everybody. So I arrived in Vivero in the dark, as you could see, but it all went pretty smoothly, like the whole entrance. Like I said, I'd contacted the marina to ask them if it was possible to get in at night if it was well lit, but also I had a contingency plan. I thought if I don't think it's lit well enough, then I would anchor outside, but thankfully I made it inside and tied up and everything was well. That is it for this week. Thank you so much to everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you to my lovely, lovely, awesome patrons. You guys rock. Yay. Yeah, really appreciate it. Okay, I hope you guys have a lovely 2 weeks. See you next time. Bye.